For a handful of years now, I've made an effort to occasionally tune in, try and keep my finger on the pulse of wacky stories coming out of Australia. It's been a bit of a guilty pleasure of mine. I've just noticed some similarities between some of the crazy stories here in Florida and the weird and wild stories of Australia. One of my favorites being this almost Lord of the Rings style plot and adventure where there was a business that was illegally dumping trash. And what would happen is the service would be called upon, like in one of the cases, they were tasked with getting rid of a huge refrigerator. And the guy shows up, takes the refrigerator, walks it down the street, and then just dumps it on the street. Basically just like fucking timber tips over the fridge on the street. Just like illegally dumping their trash everywhere. And then there was a huge investigation as well as like an attempt to scam the scammer. Just stuff like that I find to be endlessly fascinating. So I like to check in occasionally, see if there's any, quirkiness like that going on there. And today, during one of my check-ins, I found something mind-boggling that I've just got to yap about.
Police have taken a young Meadowbank woman to court, alleging she left an anti-Semitic voice message for a well-known nutritionist just days after the Bondi attack. But the accused's lawyer says it was an accidental pocket dial, and the charges are a massive overreach.
Yep, in a nutshell, there is a nutritionist claiming that an empty voicemail she received was actually an anti-Semitic voicemail. She reported it to authorities because she believed in this voicemail, which has no words, no nothing, mind you, she believes she heard gunshots there in the emptiness, in the void. So she contacted authorities. Authorities showed up at this woman's house the next day and are now attempting to charge her with an anti-Semitic hate crime.
Serena Tanuri charged with harassing Mandy Sacker, a nutritionist of Jewish faith she'd never met but seen on TV and social media. The alleged offending contained in a voicemail 1 week after the Bondi massacre.
Obviously, the Bondi massacre is a tragic, fucking horrible thing. But it's also entirely unrelated to a completely silent voicemail that was accidentally left on this woman's phone. It was, by all possible accounts here, a butt dial. It happened at, I believe it was 1:30 a.m. And she didn't even know she had called her in the first place. So when authorities arrived at her house, she didn't even know what was going on. She immediately gave them access to her phone, everything like that. And this whole story just seems fucking absurd.
All of the circumstances of this case point in one direction. It is an accidental call.
Serena's lawyer noting his client, who works at Bunnings, has a severe intellectual and cognitive disability supported by the NDIS.
She's not anti-Semitic. She doesn't even understand the conflict.
I also don't understand the conflict. This is actually a fucking nothing burger that is now positioned to maybe ruin this woman's life, all because of accidentally calling someone that she was attempting to get nutritional advice from. I can't even imagine a world where there'd be gunshots on a voicemail to intimidate her. Like, what would that even be like? She calls her up and then lets the voicemail play for 4 minutes, and then I guess at one point just like Yosemite Sam breaks out fucking, akimbo revolvers to scare her. Like, what the fuck is that? That would never happen. Or like maybe she's assuming that the gunshots she heard in the voicemail was her maybe playing like a soundboard of gunshots, or like, I don't know, playing audio from Apex Legends or something for gun sounds. Like, why would she think that there's gunshot sounds on her voicemail? That doesn't even check out logically. Why would she start shooting a gun on voicemail as a means of intimidating her? Someone she has never met before, and someone who had just previously, earlier that day, sent her text messages very politely asking for nutritional advice and seemingly looking to, pay her for nutritional advice after seeing that she has successfully done that for others. So why would her conclusion that she draws from an empty voicemail that's like 4 minutes long be, this must have been gunshots to intimidate me and scare me, this is an anti-Semitic hate crime? That's just fucking unhinged thought process.
It's alleged Serena sent a text to Mandy, writing, "Hey, how are you? Is this Mandy? I saw somewhere that you helped Katie from Married at First Sight with her nutrition. I was wondering if you could help me as well, Serena." Around 5 hours later, a call from Serena's number went to Mandy's voicemail. No voices were heard on the recording, but Mandy claims she heard sounds she believed were gunshots, causing her immediate fear and nervousness.
It could be a bed creaking, it could be someone snoring.
It could be a million things, the least likely being gunshots. It sounds, by all evidence here, to be an accidental butt dial. And guess what? When an accidental call comes through, you're gonna hear some weird noises and some creaks and moans and stuff like that, like you're playing fucking Amnesia, the Dark Descent or something. Because, again, it's a butt dial. It's an accident. My dad sometimes forgets to hang up the phone when we're done talking, and I'll sometimes, I don't know, out of curiosity, just continue to listen to hear what's going on around him. And that shit sounds like I've just taken a trip into his fucking gullet through the magic school bus with Miss Frizzle. I'm hearing all kinds of weird noises. But I'm not under the impression that my dad just then went into a fucking firefight or something. Like, I don't know how you even jumped to that conclusion that those noises that you were hearing in the background of an empty voicemail were gunshots. Like, I don't know how in the silence she's getting gunshots and whatever going on there. I so desperately wish they released the voicemail to the public. That is not accessible as of this moment. I don't know if it ever will be, but oh my god, fingers crossed they eventually release that. I am so curious to hear it. And the woman here that's accused of an anti-Semitic hate crime does not appear to be an anti-Semite. This appears to be a woman who had no idea of her faith or anything beforehand and had no idea what was even going on here, why she had like agents at her doorstep demanding her phone in the first place.
Ms. Sacker contacted a community security group who alerted police. Serena claims the first she knew about the voicemail was when detectives arrived on her doorstep the next day. She willingly handed over her phone and gave them access to everything on it.
Until the point she was charged by the police, she did not even know that the complainant was of Jewish faith.
I imagine that's got to be the most confusing situation to be unfolding. You just now have some agents at your door demanding your phone. You give them your phone out of fear, and then you find out later that it's all because of a voicemail you didn't even know you left in the first place that is now being labeled as anti-Semitic against someone who you didn't even know was of the Jewish faith in the first place. And also, according to the reporter here, Serena is apparently someone that expresses no interest in politics or religion to begin with. So it makes even less sense why Serena would be leaving a anti-Semitic voicemail in the first place with gunshots on it to try and threaten someone that she was trying to look for help from. Nothing adds up about this. I don't understand why there are now potential anti-Semitic hate crime charges being pursued against Serena over actually fucking nothing. I have to imagine some of the authorities have taken a listen to that voicemail, right? Wouldn't they want to employ some level of common sense like, that's probably not gunshots. Like, that could be a million things, and gunshots probably isn't one of them. This woman has no history of, like anti-Semitic hate or anything like that. I don't know. Maybe this isn't really something we should be putting time and resources into to, attempt to ruin this woman's life over what seems to be, by all evidence, an accident in the first place. Like, why is that not happening there? This makes me feel like if I traveled to Australia, walked down the street, closed my eyes, and just started pointing at people saying I imagine that they said a slur to me, I could get them in trouble.
Today, the newlywed pleaded not guilty to using a carriage service to menace, harass or offend. In these sensitive times, her lawyer stressed they weren't critical of the complainant.
I just hope police use some common sense here.
You and me both, man. I would hope common sense will prevail here. Unless that voicemail is really damning, which I doubt. It seems like a fucking butt dial at 1:30 a.m., and she started, like, fucking hallucinating gunshot sounds in it. I do not think this was an anti-Semitic hate crime where she left a voicemail starting, shooting guns on it to scare her for some reason.
The 26-year-old, who has also been hit with an AVO, pleaded not guilty today. The case is listed for next month when a decision will be made on whether the charge is dropped or if the matter goes to a hearing.
And you were very shocked to hear you've been charged from police?
Especially like with my mental health
just wish people could understand.
I'd never heard of an AVO before. I thought this was like a separate charge she was also given here for this voicemail. But I looked it up, and it's an apprehended violence order. And in Australia, it's used to protect someone they believe is in need of protection from, like, harassment, stalking, that kind of thing. So I'm assuming, based on the way the reporter presents it, saying that Serena got hit with an AVO, it means that they believed Mandy was in potential danger from Serena doing something. So now they've served her an AVO to protect Mandy from Serena, all because of an accidental fucking butt dial at 1:30 a.m. when she was looking for nutritional advice. Quite the circus, I would say here. I'm hoping the charges get dropped and that it doesn't go to a hearing for some reason, because I truly cannot imagine a world where this is an actual anti-Semitic hate crime, where she was shooting a gun on voicemail to scare a nutritionist she was looking for advice from. But I guess we'll see. I'm very curious to see where it goes in a month here, to see if it does progress further. Hopefully it doesn't, but we'll see. That's really about it. So yeah.